In September of 2021, a suspect involved in a carjacking and attempted homicide in Clearfield, Utah, led law enforcement on a vehicle pursuit that ended in a crash on the freeway in Farmington. The suspect fled on foot across I-15 into a residential neighborhood, prompting patrol officers to establish a perimeter and begin a search with a canine unit. During the search, a single gunshot was heard. South Davis Metropolitan SWAT and North Davis Metropolitan SWAT were both activated to conduct a house-to-house search. Operators discovered a bullet hole in a resident's window, and shortly after, a male exited a nearby home in a vehicle. He was stopped and informed operators that his family was being held hostage and that the suspect had sent him to check for police. As operators moved toward the residence, a juvenile female escaped through a window. Debriefing the father and daughter, it became clear that 3 more hostages remained inside the home with an armed suspect. Negotiations continued for several hours. At times, both the suspect and hostages stated that they were free to leave. The suspect said he would bring the hostages to the front door to show that they were unharmed. A sniper observed the suspect bringing the hostages to the door and initiated a hostage rescue shot, striking the suspect in the head. The suspect had 2 hostages in front of him and 1 to his side, and a handgun was recovered next to his body. My guest today is Lieutenant Andrew Smith. Andrew began his law enforcement career with the Utah Highway Patrol in 2008. In 2011, he left the highway and began working for the West Bountiful Police Department. He joined the South Davis Metropolitan SWAT team in 2012 and eventually moved to the Bountiful City Police Department in 2013, where he worked his way through various assignments and promoted to the rank of lieutenant and team commander of the South Davis Metropolitan SWAT team. Andrew has held numerous leadership positions in the department, including FTO, lead scout, entry team member, and assistant team leader, and is currently the South Davis Metropolitan SWAT team commander. He's been honored with numerous unit citations as a member of the police department and SWAT team, including his involvement in 2 hostage rescue operations and 2 Bountiful City Police Department chief stars, one of which for his response to an active shooter at a local junior high. My name is John Becker. For the past 4 decades, I've dedicated my life to protecting tactical operators. During this time, I've worked with many of the world's top law enforcement and military units. As a result, I've had the privilege of working with the amazing leaders who take teams into the world's most dangerous situations. The goal of this podcast is to share their stories in hopes of making us all better leaders, better thinkers, and better people. Welcome to the Debrief. Andrew, thanks for being here with me.
It's an honor to be here.
So let's start with kind of the city. Tell me about the department. Tell me about the team.
We are a small department. We're a 38-man department just north of Salt Lake City in Bountiful, Utah. We're a bedroom community for everybody that works in the Salt Lake Valley area. Our crime is not high. We're a population of about 47,000 residents. We have maybe a homicide every couple of years. Just a really low-key, good community to raise your family in. Our SWAT team is a multi-jurisdictional SWAT team. We cover the south end of Davis County. There's a second team that covers the north end of Davis County. So the population we cover is roughly about 80 to 85,000 for tactical services.
Okay. And so this is one of the things that when we first talked struck me as interesting. So there is a South Davis and a North Davis.
Correct.
And you guys split Davis County. How many agencies are in the South Davis team?
So the South Davis team, we cover 7 agencies, and then the North End covers 6 agencies.
Okay. And so we can probably just refer to them as North and South because both are going to be involved here.
Yep, both are going to be here.
So we'll go South and North. Talk to me about the capabilities of the team. How big is the team? How many operators? What's your op tempo look like?
Yeah, our team size, we're about 26 when we're fully staffed. Each agency doesn't have a specific number that they contribute to the team. It's just whatever their staffing allows for. We have 1 team commander, a team leader, 2 assistant team leaders, 2 marksmen, and then everybody else is a multi-capability operator, whether we're assigning them to be a breacher or a tech guy, et cetera. So that's the makeup of our team. We don't have explosive breaching capabilities. Neither does the North Davis team, which comes into play with this operation.
Yeah.
So that's the dynamics. Our op tempo, we're not a super busy team. Most of our calls are to assist Salt Lake City, our sister team. And it's a handful of guys that will go down there to assist them. So we average between assists and our call outs or warrant services about 20 to 25 operations a year.
Okay. And so part-time collateral duty team.
Yeah.
And multi-jurisdictional regional team.
Correct.
Okay. So how does this case start for you guys?
So this case starts actually on September 8th of 2021. The suspect in this case goes into a local hospital in the north end of the county and is in a drug-fueled crisis. He pulls a gun out, puts it to his head, ends up stealing his girlfriend's car. He flees from the area there after police are called, gets into pursuit with West Valley PD. West Valley PD terminates their pursuit, and then an arrest warrant is issued for him the following day.
Okay, so they know who he is
Yep.
and just decide we're not going to chase him anymore because he's
Correct.
going to hit a civilian or something.
Yep.
Let him go, get an arrest warrant, come back and try and get him.
Yep.
Okay.
So on the 9th of September, the suspect goes to try to break into his brother's house in Clearfield, Utah, which is where all of this stuff comes from. He ends up leaving the house just prior to Clearfield PD getting there, and they miss him. He comes back later that same night to try to do the same thing. At this point, Clearfield PD actually locates him, and in the heart of Clearfield City is an industrial complex. He ends up turning into this industrial complex, ends up losing the officer. The officer locates his unoccupied car at this time and begins a canine search in the area. While they're doing a canine search, the suspect carjacks someone at the security gate of what's called the Freeport Center in Clearfield. The information that was put out over the radio was that he had shot the female driver of the car, so we're looking at him now for attempted homicide. The Utah Highway Patrol ends up picking him up. They get into a pursuit, enters into I-15 southbound, and we have every agency is involved at this point. They know what's coming in. They get a good, successful spike on the car, and the car comes to a rest in the Farmington area, which is the county seat for Davis County. Pretty much smack dab in the middle of the county. And he runs across I-15 northbound into a neighborhood, and the trooper loses sight of him going into that neighborhood. That's how that initial call begins. And now you have the whole county coming.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's on a 3-day crime spree, just wrecking his way through Davis County. And so he runs across I-15.
Yep. And somehow he plays Frogger across I-15 and doesn't get hit. And it was a busier time of night surprisingly busy for 2:00 in the morning.
Did the troopers chase him across I-15 or did they get back in their cars?
Thank goodness they didn't. They just stayed there. They stayed on scene, called out where he was going, but
good luck, buddy.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, so now he gets into a residential neighborhood adjacent to the freeway.
Yes.
What happens next?
At that point, the officers responding to the area start to set up a containment. My partner, Mike Sheldon, who's at the time was my SWAT team leader.
Okay.
And at the time of this operation, I was the assistant team leader for the South Davis Metro SWAT team. He was working the graveyard shift for Bountiful City, which is about 10 minutes south of this incident. And here's the call coming in. He starts slowly working his way up there, and when he gets there, realizes that nobody has set up command. So we have 40 officers that have responded to this area, and nobody is running command.
I wish I could tell you that's special, but
it's not. It's not unique. Definitely not unique.
Firefighters would have a command post.
That's one thing.
Yeah, they're good at that.
They're very good at that.
Police departments, there's nobody set up command.
Nope.
Nobody wants it.
Yeah. So just prior to his arrival, though, a Centerville officer, so where this incident happened, borders Centerville City and Farmington City, literally right on the border.
Okay.
A Centerville City officer setting up just a road containment position, hitting a spotlight in both directions to try to kind of lock down that road. And he hears a single gunshot in the area, unable to exactly determine where it came from, but heard the single gunshot. So initially, what we're thinking now, and Mike is thinking, is we're just looking. The dude killed himself. We're looking for a dead body in a yard.
Yeah,
and that's it. So he starts to formulate plans. He gets with our canine. We had 5 canine officers respond to the pursuit termination point and to where he was last seen. He tells our canine guys, go put together a plan and come back to me with it. And they come back to him and say, this is not a canine problem. This is a tactical problem. So we're not going to deploy our dogs out.
Because we know where the guy is, because we don't know where the guy is. And I feel like that's what we use dogs for. What makes it a tactical problem versus a canine problem in this instance?
I don't believe that it was directly a tactical problem at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that it was there. I love our canine handlers.
But
Great
it's
guys.
a dangerous situation.
It was dangerous. They were more concerned about the safety of their canines.
Yeah, that's fair.
Versus their biggest concern was if the canine is likely going to go past the suspect and then track back to him. And if the suspect was at an ambush point, now they're coming back. He's going to kill. So Mike said, okay, that's fine. You guys are no longer needed then. Go work somewhere else. And he called me immediately and he said, I need you now. This is where I'm at. And I didn't ask any questions, threw my stuff on and responded down to him. And we started to formulate a plan of how we were going to shrink this problem. The area where the suspect was last seen is a newer development. There was about 70 homes under construction.
Jesus.
With a wide open field just south of it. So pretty big area that we're having to do house-to-house searches. So we make the decision we're going to call out the South Davis Metro SWAT team as well as the North Davis SWAT team to come do house-to-house searches.
So you call North Davis for mutual aid.
Yep.
And activate your own team.
Correct.
Okay. Are you sure at this point you even have an actual containment?
We felt like we had a pretty good containment because when the pursuit was coming in, officers started to respond to that area already. And then the Centerville officer that heard the gunshot, he was in the area within about a minute when he heard the gunshot go off.
Okay.
So we think we have a pretty good idea of where he's at. Now, obviously, when you start setting up that containment and guy's high, right? He can move pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so our containment area was actually pretty broad to begin with because we knew how fast he was moving.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got containment.
Yes.
You've got both teams active en route.
Yep.
Canine search is not an option.
Correct.
What happens next?
At this point, we start thinking, what are our options, knowing if our canines are saying this is a tactical problem, it doesn't make sense for us to then put just regular patrol officers to start clearing. We got lucky that night. Star 9, which is the DPS helicopter, had just landed and was refueling. Normally, it's about an hour and a half spin up for them to get back to us. They were 20 minutes out. So we started with the Star 9 searching, using their FLIR camera to search the area, because if we can pinpoint, see a body slipping out of the norm, it's going to shrink that problem for us a lot quicker.
Sure.
As soon as our guys start getting there, I am tasked by Mike to do a briefing on them. I let them know the situation, who we're looking for, and what area of the contained area that we're going to start searching with the South Davis team. I then brief the North Davis team leaders the same thing. You're assigned to this specific area, report back when it's done.
So it's a new development.
Yes.
What percentage of the houses are completed and occupied?
The houses that were completed and occupied is probably around 30%. Everything else is in various stages of construction, no locked doors, no anything on, which means he could have gotten into every single one of those.
Got it.
So a big problem for us that we're having to deal with. I think we're talking about 100-ish to 120 homes total in that area, and either fully occupied or just had the foundation poured.
Wow.
So a lot for our guys to deal with, but we tasked them to start to deal with that. As they start doing that, Star 9's overhead, circling the area. He's monitoring our team's movement. He's also trying to track down. Again, we believe we just are searching for a dead body at this point. About an hour into the search, Star 9 says we've searched the area. We don't see anything. We're going to start expanding our area. So now we start thinking, oh man, maybe our perimeter was not as tight as we
maybe
thought.
He broke your containment.
Was, right? The canine guys who were not working it in the area had found a hat to the neighborhood to the north of where we were at, and the suspect was last seen wearing a hat. So now they're starting to think even more, okay, this guy definitely broke our containment. At that point, the North Davis SWAT team, they're on the last cul-de-sac that they are clearing, and they find a single bullet hole in a window of a residence. So now our focus is that's where the gunshot was at. So let's check that house, make sure we're not seeing a dead body around there. As they are doing that, they see a car backing out of the driveway. They stop the car in the cul-de-sac, and they meet Chris Samuelson, and he tells them, the guy you're looking for is in my house holding my family hostage.
Jesus.
And in command, we're 30 minutes away from wrapping this thing up. We know who the guy is. We'll go find him another day. We hear break.
Break. Hey, we just got someone leaving 1645 saying that they've been held hostage in their house for the last couple of hours.
And it's on.
Wow. So how does the dad get away? I mean, now, retrospectively, how does the dad get away to be driving through the neighborhood?
So it's a unique situation. Chris Samuelson, my interaction with Chris was not great to begin with. He got brought back to command, and I got to debrief him on everything. After the whole incident's done, we talked to Chris, figured out exactly what happened. The suspect, Chris woke up to hearing voices that he was not familiar with. As the alarm goes off to start getting ready for work, he goes out, suspect points a gun at him. Chris believes that the suspect was intimidated by him. So the whole time that Chris is moving around the house with the suspect keeps putting one of his family members in front.
Oh, yeah, because he's afraid he's going to hit him or take him. Yeah.
And Chris is a gun guy. He has guns spread out there all around his house. Now, none of them are chambered, but he has guns in various locations throughout his house. So Chris is trying to strategically plan, how do I access this weapon?
Yeah.
Enough time to do that.
How do I leave this guy somewhere where I can quickly grab a gun and kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of those, again, talking to Chris, is in their master bedroom. He actually has a gun underneath his mattress that's not loaded, but the suspect brings in his daughter, Piper, and puts Piper between Chris and him. And Piper's catching what Chris is starting to do. He's trying to plan, how quickly can I get this gun out, rack it around to the chamber, and shoot this guy before he shoots my daughter.
Right, yeah.
Ultimately, Chris makes a difficult decision that a lot of people, including myself, criticized him on. There's no way I'm leaving my family. No way I'm allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
He ends up leaving, and the story that he told us was, I told the suspect I got to go do a drug test. Suspect bid onto that and let him go.
I mean, that is a very difficult decision to make. Retroactively, it's the right decision, but it's a very difficult decision to make. I would not. That is a Solomon's choice, because he also knows that nobody's coming to help.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody knows.
Nobody knows this is a hostage rescue right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And so, so Chris is met in the cul-de-sac. He's brought back to Tactical Command where I'm at, and I was assigned to debrief Chris. Going through hostage rescue 101, I asked him to draw out his house for me, where they were at, confirm the suspects in there, confirm the suspect has a handgun, the location, the last known location before Chris left. And then I made the decision to have Chris leave the scene to go with negotiators away from the scene. Chris still is a little pissed at me today for that decision, but I made the decision based off of, I'm a father as well. And if I lose sight of, if an officer's not watching me, I'm going to go find my way back to that house. I'm going to sneak in and I'm going to kill this SOB that has my family.
Yeah. Him being there is not going to help a peaceful or non-peaceful resolution of the situation. It's
Correct.
Only going to add drama and complexity and everything else. Yep. So I think it's the right decision, but I'm sure it was very difficult for him to leave.
Yeah, he was not happy, and I understand that.
Yeah.
So we get that information from Chris, and within probably 10 minutes after that, his 15-year-old daughter, Presley Samuelson, wakes up. She's getting ready for school. She looks at her phone, and her phone's getting blown up from friends saying, hey, there's a whole bunch of police in the area. Is everything okay? And she has no idea anything's going on. And she wakes up, goes upstairs. I have a 14-year-old daughter. There's no way my 14-year-old daughter acts this way. Presley doesn't make a single sound. She walks upstairs, sees a guy with a gun, doesn't recognize him, goes immediately back downstairs, out her bedroom window, and is picked up by operators on containment.
Clever girl.
Yeah. She's an amazing girl. So she's brought back to command. We confirmed the exact same thing that Chris said. Inside the house is her mom, her sister, and her sister's boyfriend, and the suspect who has a black handgun.
Okay.
And they were all in the main living room, which is exactly where Chris told us they were at when he left.
Okay.
So at this point, we have a little bit of information with where the suspect's at. We start putting together our deliberate action plan. One of the things, we made a lot of mistakes during this operation. One of the things that we did right was as soon as we had the two teams, the North Davis and the South Davis teams arrive, we told them, whichever team finds the problem first, whether it's a barricade, a hostage rescue, that person is going to become the immediate action team. The other team's going to return back to tactical command and start deliberate rehearsals.
Oh, that's smart.
So we had already had that pre-established. So when that break went out, the North Davis team who found the problem immediately transitioned to immediate action team. The South Davis team returned back and started deliberate action rehearsals. And that's where, after I have Chris diagram out what he could remember, obviously he's in a state of high emotion. And so it was a chicken scratch drawing. I went to one of our veteran operators on the team and said, "You're the team leader for the deliberate action team. Here's your diagram. Go start put together a plan. Let me know when you're ready." And they went and rehearsed. At this point, too, because of what we were dealing with, I had 16 operators arrive that night for the call out. North Davis had 21. And because of the size of the structure, we decided to call Salt Lake City's SWAT team as well. And they did a full team activation. And they ended up having 30 operators respond to the scene. With their negotiator team plus our negotiator team, we ended up at 12 negotiators to start tackling this problem. But that causes some problems as well, because we have now 3 tactical commanders, multiple team leaders that are all coming together to solve a hostage rescue, and none of us train together.
Yeah. Even North and South Davis don't really train together?
Not really. Difference in philosophies and stuff kind of has kept us from doing so. We tried for a little bit, but it wasn't, all we did combined was firearms training. We never did anything to integrate tactics or to make us be able to flow a little bit better that way.
Okay, so you got 3 tactical commanders, you got a dozen negotiators, you got now probably 70 operators.
Yeah.
What is the deliberate action plan?
Well, the deliberate action plan went into multiple phases. The initial was if just that crisis entry, they got to go type deal. Daniel Jaquez, who was assigned to be the team leader for that, they planned for every contingency they could. They ran through suspect, last location was on the other side of the couch, right in the middle of the living room. And they would move to where the suspect's not in that position, he's over here now. Suspect has hostages standing in front of them. That moved to, in a hostage rescue where we are doing a deliberate assault, there's a high degree of likelihood that one of our operators or a hostage is going to get killed.
Sure.
So they transitioned to an operator down, multiple operators down, and then happened to step over them and bypass those. So you thought you were going left, but the person in front of you went down, and now you got to go right.
Nice.
So they started planning all those contingencies to everything they could think about. But with that comes overload. And they were very overloaded, so they would have to take breaks and try to jump back into it.
Okay. How long does this go on as you guys are doing the initial planning? How long is that deliberate planning before something changes?
The deliberate planning went on probably about 3.5 hours.
Oh, okay. And in the meantime, does negotiation have contact with the suspect?
They have contact with the suspect. They also have contact with the hostages still inside with Holly Jo Samuelson, Piper Samuelson, and Ethan Dowding.
Okay.
Through various forms of communication. Most of it was through text message. They were not answering the phone. As negotiators are talking to them, we get some conflicting information to where our negotiators are telling us we think that these guys are willing participants. We're not even sure we're dealing with a hostage situation.
Oh, interesting. What made them think that?
Some of the things that they were saying was like, I don't want to say the suspect's name. I don't want to give them that credit.
Nope.
But they were saying, we just want to, we're helping him through some things. We're helping him through this. We're free to go. We just want to make sure he gets the help that he needs. He's a good guy. He's just struggling right now. And multiple times it was, we're free to leave.
So there's three possibilities here. One, they're legitimately seeing the text messages. Two, he's telling them what to say. Or three, he's stolen their phones.
Correct.
Do you know which of the?
It was a combination. They definitely fell into the Stockholm syndrome of where they were building a relationship with this individual who took them hostage. And I can't fault them for that because it's if you don't, you're dead.
Kills you. Yeah.
So they're doing everything they can do in survival mode to get through that process.
Got it.
And yeah, he did take their phone. It caused us a tactical dilemma because as negotiators are coming to us at Tactical Command saying, we don't think they're hostages. Well, we've just given open authority on this. And now you're telling us they're willing participants. Do we even have a legal obligation to be here anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this legitimately a tactical problem? And if they're not hostages, then, you still have to get the guy, right?
Still have to get the guy, but
yeah,
it changes how we plan everything, right? We're no longer, we're dealing with a potentially barricaded individual.
Right.
Versus.
With some co-conspirators.
Yeah. Versus a hostage rescue, which is going to completely change how we handle and tackle the problem. It put us we went to a closed authority situation of you are no longer, even if you see him separate, we have more information in Tactical Command than you do. You're not going to take that shot.
Got it.
And people were not prepared for that. Now, that didn't last long because negotiators eventually got on the phone with Ethan, the suspect that stepped away. They got on the phone with Ethan and he said, yeah, we're not free to leave. So we immediately went back into an open authority situation.
Got it. Okay. So then what happens?
Well, negotiators are, through their conversation with them, are able to convince him to show proof of life. And there was an issue with negotiators telling Tactical Command that this was taking place. So our tactical plan was not set for this. Now, a lot of it, you think you know where people are at. You think you have a good idea of where people were set up. And then suspect comes to the front door and shows proof of life. And the only reason why you knew that the suspect went to the front door was a dog left the house.
Oh, wow.
So we realized at this point we made a couple mistakes.
Yeah, so long guns are in the wrong position.
Long guns are in the wrong position. We set up all of our long guns on the east side of the residence.
What side would that be?
Be the three side of the residence.
Side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for us, the one side's the front door.
Yep.
So the three side of the residence. And a lot of that was information that we were getting. We had a neighbor call us. We're actually one of the marksman team set up in their house, say, hey, I can see the suspect. He keeps coming to the back door. Keeps looking out the back windows. So like, okay, if that's what he's doing, we're going to set up all of our marksmen on that side.
Yeah.
All information driven. And we quickly realized we made a mistake. The other thing that we thought was that the emergency action team or the immediate action team was actually on the target property. They were actually a residence to the north. So they couldn't see the front door because it had a breezeway. So the front door is tucked back. So we thought they could see it. We thought they had eyes on. In reality, they didn't. And that definitely impacted it as well. And the only reason why we knew he came to the front door was the dog ran out. And the guy's like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Got it.
So we quickly rectified that. Mike Sheldon gets that information that we missed that target of opportunity. At the same time, Salt Lake City sniper team leaders coming to us and he says, can I? And Mike says, yes, do it now. So they were already on the same page of we need to reposition our marksmen around to give us that better coverage. So the marksman that was in the house to the north on the 2-3 corner, they grabbed the rifles and immediately moved to their position where they ended up taking the marksman took the shot.
So the the marksman, you have South Davis, North Davis has the house. South Davis is planning immediate action or, deliberate action. And you have snipers from
all three teams
at different points around the house.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we have the South Davis marksman was immediately on the 3 side of the residence in a field, hiding behind. He had a dirt berm with some construction stuff. The North Davis marksmen were at a house on the 4 side. And then the Salt Lake marksmen, when they arrived, went to the 2-3 corner.
Got it. So now they're going to reposition from the 2-3 corner to the one side.
Yep. Okay. It was easier for them to move than any other team. Our guy, once the sun started coming up over the mountain, he was no longer able to move without being seen.
Got it.
So the other issue that we had with our marksmen specifically that we had to make sure they were dialed in was the suspect and Ethan Downey looked very similar in appearance.
Oh boy. So you got a hostage and a suspect that look similar.
Similar. Same height, same facial structure. Both were wearing hats when they were last seen. So it was, okay, so we immediately put that over the radio. We sent pictures to the marksman team, and the marksmen did a fantastic job. They studied when they were off gun. They were calling out specific facial features, making sure they knew exactly who they were looking for.
Nice.
So that led into us starting to get to the point where we needed to put our deliberate team in place. We went to Salt Lake City, had the breachers formulate a plan. The breachers went up to evaluate the house, figure out what the best entry points were going to be, or positions for them to do explosive breaches that would create multiple entry points as well as a distraction element. They were supposed to go up and then come back. Well, they never came back. They stayed up on scene. So the plan of what they were going to do never got into place. As they were formulating their plans, the suspect showed proof of life again, which we knew he was likely going to do. First time he went out there, nothing happened. Second time we were ready for this. Our marksman saw the door open, and within seconds of the door opening, took the shot. Go. Hit the suspect, the upper temple on his left side. I remember that shot going out plain as day. We had no idea it was going out, but we heard it.
Yep.
And then we heard the move. And we knew that we were going to be effecting a rescue at that point.
So was your immediate action plan prepped? Like who is covering the house from a team standpoint at the point that the shot goes out?
So the North Davis team was covering it. They were housed to the north, and then Salt Lake City had brought several guys up with their breachers to give them some security as they were moving up.
Sure.
So when the shot went out and the entry was made, you had a combination of North Davis Metro SWAT and Salt Lake City SWAT who made entry into the house.
Oh, interesting. And those two teams certainly don't train together.
Yeah, they definitely don't train together.
Did they intermingle or did they split or what did they do?
They intermingled, and probably the saving grace that kept it from not being a cluster was somebody inside, one of the first couple of operators in, started telling people feeding off. So he would point at you left, you right, you left, you right. So they intermingled, but because they were doing a dynamic, it was pretty simple for them to just feed off of each other and move.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, at that point, we confirmed the suspect's down. He's taken into custody, and we get confirmation over the radio that all of our hostages are safe and secure.
Fantastic. So Talk to me a little bit about lessons learned on this. Because, I mean, this is, it's a textbook resolution of a hostage situation.
Right.
But 3 teams on scene, there's complexity here. What are your primary lessons learned from this thing?
There's so many. Probably one of the first lessons learned is knowing and making sure your guys understand what their specific responsibilities are. We had some people, which we had no idea until after the fact, self-deploy into the target residence. A DPS SWAT guy was on his way home, heard everything go off, and he had just injected himself, and we had no idea that he was there.
Oh, boy.
On the SWAT side of it is Salt Lake City's breaching team was, our understanding was their mission was you go to the house, figure out your breach points, and come back. And so we can start rehearsing that with the deliberate action team. So it's making sure that your guys understand their roles and responsibilities, exactly what their mission is, and no freelancing was one of the biggest takeaways of that. The other thing that we had issues with was comms. As far as 3 different teams operating, we were able to patch channels, but with that means you're losing some of the encryption stuff and everybody's able to listen to what you're doing. Making sure you have 360, it's SWAT 101, right? 360 coverage on a house with our marksmen. And we allocated all of our resources to the 3 side of the residence. And so we were not prepared for that. And then on the negotiation side of it, of having somebody who, even though the negotiators were just on one side of the door in our command post, having somebody in there that's verifying the information that they're receiving, and we're able to accurately get that information. So those are some of the key lessons learned, as well as know what resources you have available. It was because of the relationship we have with Salt Lake City SWAT, West Valley SWAT, Unified PD SWAT. It was a quick phone call to say, hey, I need this and I need it now. And there were no questions asked. It was, we'll get you whatever you need.
Do you guys, but the teams are not training together. You just have personal relationships?
Correct. Yep. And that's the importance of having those relationships. And that's how you start to build those, where you don't have to ask the questions. It's, hey, I need this. And they're sending it. Now, we do send all of our SWAT guys attend the Salt Lake City SWAT school. So we have a much better relationship with Salt Lake. They go through Salt Lake's tactics, et cetera. So it's easy for us to have that relationship.
So, because North Davis uses different tactics than you guys do?
Correct.
So you are more aligned with Salt Lake, which is to your south?
Yes.
And then who are they more aligned with?
They're more aligned with Ogden Metro SWAT.
Which is to their north.
To their north.
Okay, so basically the dividing line between the 2 teams is kind of also like a cultural, tactical dividing line.
Yes.
Interesting. So did you have any problems with media?
We did have a problem with the media. In Utah, we have one news outlet that has a helicopter, KSL. They ended up, we immediately, as soon as we confirmed it was a hostage rescue, we restricted the airspace. And KSL did not listen to us. They refused to listen to FAA. And it caused a dilemma for us, because if we were to go crisis now and you have a helicopter hovering overhead, you're not going to hear everything. So not only that, but the news was filming our movements. Oh, so if the suspect was to turn on anything, they could see exactly where we were at, all of our positions. So it caused us an issue for about 40-ish minutes before we were finally able to get them out of the area.
Have you subsequently had a conversation with them about what they were?
We have not. The state of Utah has.
Oh, like one of those talks.
Yeah. Yeah, it went up that high.
Yeah. So it was the state had a conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. Got it. In these situations, so the South team is not yet in a hostage rescue posture.
Correct.
The North team is in a hostage rescue posture, an emergency action posture. But it sounds like, this is a target of opportunity.
Yes.
Right? How much coordination was there between the negotiators or tactical dispatchers and the team that the guy was coming back out?
That information was, again, not passed on. Now, a lot of that, I can't fault the negotiators necessarily on that, right? Suspect says, I'm going to come out in a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden he's at the door coming out. but the information was not put out to the team or even tactical command that they had formulated that plan again. He was going to show proof of life. So when our marksman sees the door opening, he sees that they're not free to leave and has that opportunity to take the shot. But none of that information was ever passed on to the team. So nobody was ready for the shot to go.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting because, like, on the one hand, you want that to be coordinated.
Yes.
Right? But on the other hand, you got a shot at the guy. You got to take the shot because he he's already come out once and gone back in. What are the odds that he doesn't just turn around and go back in?
Yeah.
Fortunately, he hits and effectively hits, and we're not having a conversation about he missed and then the guy went back inside.
Yep.
But did that create any friction or tension? Because is it a Salt Lake marksman?
Salt Lake City marksman who took the shot.
And did that create any tension with the teams, or was there any kind of weirdness afterwards?
No. There was some conflict between us and the negotiators, which I think there's always that potential.
Sure. There's always a tension.
Yeah.
Right? Because you are built for two different resolutions to the problem.
Yeah. And it was, listen, in command, I need you to be overly communicated to us.
Yeah.
We will then decipher what information we need to put out to the team. But I need you to tell me, hey, we've formulated this plan again. It's in the process so that I can let the teams know, hey, at some point, be ready. This guy is going to come to the front door.
Yeah, you may get a shot at him.
We never had that opportunity.
Interesting.
So there wasn't conflict there. We did have conflict, though. And this is one of those, as a team leader at the time, you can't prepare for. My guys who had been rehearsing for hours, doing a deliberate assault rehearsal, they saw Salt Lake City go up and not return. They knew the North Davis was up there during a crisis entry. And and it's an area that our team covers.
Yeah.
I got a guy on my team who works for that agency in that city. My guys never saw the target property. They never got deployed on scene on that. And they felt like we did not trust them.
Yeah.
And so it definitely caused some conflict. It took us a couple months before we were able to re-smooth things out and let them know it's not a trust issue. And that's, again, having you guys understand what their roles and responsibilities are.
Well, you can see where they would draw that conclusion, right?
Because I can't fault them for that.
We're here. Our commander, our ATL is at the command post. Like, we're going to be the immediate action or the direct action team. So, like, this is going to be our mission. And then all of a sudden the mission's over. And it was a guy from Salt Lake that came in that
took the shot, and Salt Lake and North Davis made entry, and we didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fault them one bit for that. I would think the exact same thing. And for a long time, I and Mike, we beat ourselves up of, should we have put them up a lot sooner? But at the same time, if we're putting the deliberate action team up, it means that we are going to do a direct assault on that residence, and we were not ready for that yet. Yeah.
That's an interesting cultural, you can see where, I can see both sides of that.
Yeah.
What else was there? Like, as you guys look back at this, is there anything else that you're like, man, we should have, or we shouldn't have?
On the amount of time we've done this, the question always comes up of, what did you guys think about a covert entry into the residence? And
because at one point when the daughter came out,
yep.
How did she get out of the house?
She went out through her bedroom window in the basement. So we had an entry point. She left the window open.
Okay.
And we didn't think about it. It was not on our mind.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. If I could go back, we would probably put that into place. You got to have some dialed in dudes because
covert entry into a hostage. I mean, that is what, a lot of bigger teams would do.
Yes.
Right. Is stealth to contact with the suspect. But it's certainly a higher risk operation than as it resolved the guy coming out and getting long gunned.
Yeah. So that's one of the biggest things. Like, if we go back and do it all over again, we would definitely, that'd be one of the things that we would do differently. That'd probably be one of our contingencies that we're planning for, and fairly quickly if we have that opportunity.
Got it. No hostages injured?
Ethan was injured. from the round that the marksman shot off. It fragmented, and he took a shrapnel just above his eye. That was really the only injury.
Fragmented off of what?
We believe when it hit the suspect's head that the round fragmented and part of the jacket came apart. And it ended up impacting him. Huh. So interesting with that. The trajectory of the round, it narrowly misses Ethan, and the round ends up, as it goes through, deviates its pattern and goes up through the ceiling and roof, and the round was never recovered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's through and through in the guy's head.
Correct.
I'm assuming the suspect probably dead right there.
Dead right there. He still had a little bit of a pulse, so the medics worked him. They ended up flying him, but that was the paramedics' decision, not us. We knew he was not going to make it.
Yeah.
So
injuries inconsistent with life.
Yep.
Got it. So looking back at it, as you guys have now, the team has looked back, what have you changed in either the way you're training, the way you're operating? How did this event kind of inflect your team?
It changed our team in so many different ways. As far as training goes, we've definitely put probably an increased focus on hostage rescue trainings and planning for multiple contingencies and having the hostage taker in various locations. Probably more importantly is that understanding of roles and responsibilities, and that just because you didn't get put up to the house doesn't mean that your role was any less than the marksman who took the shot. You had a specific mission point. The marksman had a specific mission point. And now it's my job as the team leader, now team commander, to help you understand what that mission is and making sure you have a clear understanding of what your roles and responsibilities are. And that, again, it's no different than any other position on it. That's just your assignment at the time of the operation.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the biggest ones. The other one would be understanding and trying to find ways to have commonality with our support teams. We work, again, very closely with Salt Lake. We speak the same language. The way we call out things is very similar, but we're just so different from the North Davis team. We've had to modify some of those things as far as like the numbering of houses, the team assignments. So those minor changes that when
are you guys 1, 2, 3, 4 and they're white, green, red, black?
Yeah. So it's those little things of changing those or having an understanding of, hey, when we say this is what it means, and when you say this is what it means. Was big for us to do. And then just getting those continued relationship building. Surprisingly enough, we had a SWAT training 2 days before this incident took off. We had something completely different planned out, but Mike Sheldon, the team leader at the time, it had been a while since we had done a sniper-initiated hostage rescue, and he changed the training that day to be sniper-initiated hostage rescue.
Prophetic.
So everything was right at the forefront. Our guys were fresh with it. And then establishing that team culture of, hey, when command makes a decision, it's not that we don't trust you guys. And we had to reiterate that over and over and over. So those are probably the biggest things that's changed for us. And we have having so many young guys on the team of reinstilling that culture and that understanding.
Yeah, for sure. That's a fantastic op. I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah, it's been great. The only other thing that I would add to this, and this goes for all law enforcement officers, tactical teams, whether or not, we have such a great relationship with the Samuelson family as a result of this incident. To where in a couple of days, I'm going to Piper's wedding. But if you're not taking the opportunity to build relationships with the people that you were having a positive impact in your community, you're missing the boat. Because when I go to my city council or my chief and I say, I need this piece of equipment, they're my biggest advocates. They're going to say, yeah, this is what you need, and we're going to do whatever they want. So when they're speaking to the media, whatever, man, we're missing the boat in law enforcement with building those relationships with our community. And God, you can't miss that.
No, for sure. We just, recently released the Confronting Hate documentary about the Tree of Life, and the bond that formed between the team and the survivors at Tree of Life was unbelievable. And in this case, you can see why the family would, certainly be bonded to the team because, if I'm that dad, you guys saved my daughters.
Yeah. Again, I think that as law enforcement, we turn the page too quickly on those, right? Like, we're just going on to the next call. We're going on to the next operation instead of taking the time to get to know them. And we've gained so much more perspective. And they've gained perspective and closure as well. They didn't understand why it was taking so long for us to do different things. And we had no idea what was actually going on inside the house until we're sitting down and talking to them, where nobody would have had that information otherwise.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Take care.